All right, so hello, my name is Casey. I am the Director of Customer Success, the Head of Tech Support, Wizard of Onboarding. I bring a lot of snacks. I'm not good at baking though. I have a lot of job titles here at Spectora, but I'm the one who usually does these webinars and these tutorials. Occasionally Kevin, one of our two founders, helps me. And so if you have not yet watched those webinars, jump on the YouTube channels, YouTube/Spectora. And I've got all sorts of videos on there for tutorials about how to easily onboard yourself as a new user in little manageable chunks, to a huge 2-hour-long webinar where I literally hit every single button on the mobile app. And so if there's something to learn about Spectora, we probably have a tutorial for it. And if not, in the bottom of your Spectora.com home screen, there is this little green bubble. And we take pride. We're routinely rated as the highest, we're routinely rated as the most responsive customer customer service in the industry. We average an under 1 minute response time right now during business hours on tech support, and we cover the business hours of all US time zones, mainland. And so type into the tech support chat bubble. If you don't feel like talking to us, you can also use these find yourself articles. The main communication with our tech support is the chat bubble. Because we're so responsive and it's super efficient we're able to send you links and pictures and log in as you and look in your account in that moment. We do also schedule phone calls in advance to make sure that we've got people to cover support. And also we generally find that phone calls are less efficient because we can't quite be putting you on hold and doing tech support and things like that. So trust me, you'll like the chat eventually if you don't like it now. The theme of today's webinar is how to quick start on Spectora. And so I'm doing something I haven't done somehow, and we're literally going to start at the beginning of how to sign up for a free trial. And then I'm going to give you the basics of here's what you need to do exactly to be able to do a mock inspection around your house, or if you're feeling crazy, do an inspection tomorrow. We have the tools within the system that you can do that and then tinker later. We hear that the software is extremely user intuitive. Basics. We are a web-based platform that has a companion Apple and Android app. And so when you're working on your laptop, you're going to be using Spectora.com. We're not a one-time download because we're continually developing. It's called a SaaS, software as a service. Spectora.com. There's a ton of huge web advantages of having a web-based software. And so Spectora.com. And then when you're on site and doing reports, you would download the Apple or Android Report Writer app. It's for the inspectors only, not the office staff. And you would be able to use the app to go through and take pictures directly into comments, do your annotations. The majority of our inspectors finish 95% of the report on site and then come back to their laptops afterward and are able to look at their reports and proofread them and feel good about them, and then they send them out. We do have a significant number of inspectors who are finishing their reports on site. The biggest compliment that we can get at Spectora is that we are giving you guys time back with their families, or your families, because you're no longer having to work a double full-time job of doing the home inspection and then going home and then doing the report editing. Once you get the flow of Spectora, you're able to finish your report on site, proofread, send it out. Easy enough. We really try to be your one-stop shop we give you the tools that you need to run an inspection business. And I'll kind of get into those a little bit here as we do the setup. But those include things like automatically generated pre-inspection agreements, emails for confirmation of scheduling, rescheduling, pre-inspection reminders, report ready, follow-up emails asking for reviews. All of those can also be text messages since the industry is going to the millennials. I'm both proud and sad to say. And so we've got those, we've got pricing structures, we've got all that good stuff. This webinar is kind of specifically oriented to people who have never played around with Spectora before, but there will probably be some good refreshers for the veterans. And if you already have a free trial account with us, it'll only take me a couple minutes here, so zone out and zone back in. You got me. All right, perfect. So this is the Spectora.com homepage. To first sign up for a free trial, you would click in the upper right-hand corner. It's green, and it says free trial. And if we click on it, you'll notice that our free trial is 5 published inspections. We don't have a time limit for it because we've got a lot of people who want to take their time and set up their templates. We offer a lot of tools. And we don't hide any features from you. Besides, you cannot schedule and publish more than 5 inspections. And I say that kind of deliberately because you can schedule an inspection and then tinker around with it. And as long as you don't send it to anyone, you can actually delete that inspection and get that free trial number back. So it's 5 published inspections. We do only allow you to schedule 5 at a time because we would never want to put you guys in a situation where you schedule an inspection for a real client and then your free trial's up and you can't publish it to them. So if you're looking like you have 5 inspections on there and they're not all published and it won't let you schedule again, delete one of the unpublished ones and there you go, you've got another free trial back. Awesome. And like I said, the only thing that we limit on there is the amount of inspections you can schedule and publish. All of the other tools are at your disposal and you can take as much time as you need to get comfortable with them. So for today, I'm going to sign us up for this free trial. casecade@spectora.com. Now, when you sign up for an account, we are going to send a who's ever annotating this video, can you please stop? I didn't even know that you guys could do that without my permission. Cool. YouTube notoriety forever. Love you guys. Just watch. There's a chat function. If you have questions, I'll address them at the end. But yeah, no annotating. You crazy kids, calm down. Cool. Okay, so when you sign up for a free trial, you're going to get this email. casecade@spectora.com is my fake email for today. A lot of times people get confused. You are going to get an email to this particular email. So when I hit, I agree, and I'm not a robot, this is great, and sign up, that email is now going to get a confirmation email that you need to click on and confirm your email. You're one step away. Look for this email. You guys are going to get a quick view into what our tech support bubble looks like. I'm going to try to go as fast as possible because we've got people on tech support right now talking to Alexis. So if we head over here, we're going to get, come on, load. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. This guy, the Spectora confirmation instructions. And you're just gonna click confirm my account and open them up, close out of tech support. And now I'm in. I've confirmed my account. I'm now an active inspector in Spectora on my 5 inspection free trial. Once you are finished with your free trial, or if you would like to schedule more than 5 inspections out, or if you're just gung-ho and ready to go and you would like to start, you would hit this orange subscribe now button. We have a couple different options for membership and subscription with Spectora. We are a subscription service because we do provide a lot of continual services that would not work with a download, such as you can select an automatic email to go out a year from now. And part of these services is your 7-day-a-week tech support. And so we work really hard to earn your subscription. So you can do a monthly or an annual subscription. And then we also offer website building if you don't have a website. And we have a great package called the Jumpstart package for new inspectors who are trying to get everything done. You'd like us to handle everything you need to start a business. That Jumpstart package includes an annual agreement of the software, a custom built website, and hosting for that website for an entire year. And by bundling those three together and doing the Jumpstart package, you're actually saving more than $1,000, and our websites are cheaper than a lot of other custom built places too, and we crank them out faster because we have dedicated web designers. So Jumpstart package, highly recommend it. Now that we have our free trial set up, the first thing that I'm gonna wanna do is set up who I am and who my company is. So if you go up into the upper right-hand corner, you'll see that my name is up here with a drop-down menu. And so if I click my name, it's now a drop-down menu where you can access all the different little areas of Spectora. In this case, I wanna set up who I am, so I'm gonna go to my profile. And in this profile, you'll see that I have two options. I've got company information and I've got inspector information. Now, inspector information, I can put my face on here. That's what's going to show up on reports. I highly recommend also getting a JPEG image of your signature. And if you would like a really great website, to go do that, you can type into the tech support chat bubble, or if you have a super good memory, I recommend mylivesignature.com. It's a free, super simple website that creates a JPEG of a transparent background signature that looks really, really good on Spectora and your reports. The problem with taking a picture and of your signature and then uploading it into this area is that the white of your paper is never going to match the white of a white computer screen. So inevitably your signature looks a little sloppy and yellowish. So I highly recommend getting a transparent background JPEG of your signature. mylivesignature.com, or jump into the tech support chat bubble and I've got an article with a link in there. It's perfect. To upload your inspector profile picture, all you do is click on the photo and it will open this uploader where we can choose who to upload. In this case, I did not have a profile picture ready to go, so we're not gonna upload one right now. Entering your company address is particularly important because one of the pricing modifiers that you can apply to your services and fees is distance away from the company address. And so if your inspection is super far away, you can have your pricing structure automatically include a $25, $50 extra mileage fee for that drive time and that gas. And so putting in an accurate company address here is really, really important. Logos, we don't personally design logos at Spectora. If you are an InterNACHI member, they actually do it as a part of your membership fee for free. And those guys are absolutely awesome. I had the pleasure of meeting them in person at this last InterNACHI conference up in Boulder. And you are in good hands with them and they produce really, really great work. So if you're looking for a logo and you're an InterNACHI member, head over to them. This top company logo, I recommend you use a square because this is what's going to go on your reports. For this header logo, the header that we're talking about, and I'll show you this in a little bit, is actually going to be the top of your agreements and the top of the client-facing portal that you'll see here in a minute. And so it actually looks better if it's a rectangle. So if you have a square logo, that's better for like the actual like picture of the logo, put it in the top one. If you have a logo that includes the image and then the company name and it's longer in a rectangle, put it down here in the header logo. So square, rectangle. You can also choose several different points of contact for your automated emails to go out from, either from each inspector that's assigned to the inspections if you're a multi-inspector company, or you can choose to have an office email in your company profile and always have your email communication go through your office profile. And if you are going to choose that second option, the company as the point of contact versus the inspector, you could edit which email is in there in your company profile. I always do like to point out that on your profile page and a few other pages within Spectora, you are going to see this save profile button. Use it if you're editing. It gets overlooked a lot just because on a lot of screens, like mine, it loads up at the top and you kind of got to scroll down a little bit to get it. If you are in a state that requires credentials to be listed on certain types of reports, particularly the Florida WDI, the Florida WinMIT, Texas, the TREC form, the Texas WDI, to get those to populate correctly into the special PDF forms that are required, you would put your license number up here in this credentials area and it would automatically populate onto the PDFs for you. Just a little handy time-saving thing so you're not having to type in that number constantly. You can also, since your company profile does have a public-facing portion of it, you can write about my business up here, what sets you apart as a company or as an inspector. I usually see things up there like, thank you for your interest. We've been in the industry for 20 years, or I'm new to the industry, but I'm an awesome veteran and I'm here to help you, things like that. Something to make you memorable. It's not quite like a Facebook profile, certainly, but it is something that your clients will see, particularly if you're using the Spectora schedulers. So put some time into here. If you have a YouTube channel that I see a lot of the multi-inspector or younger solo inspector companies doing, I've been seeing this lovely industry trends of moving from a home inspector who works for agents pointing out bad things for a negotiating purpose to home inspectors being educational tools for the clients when they're buying a house about how to better take care of their house, and really being that knowledgeable person that a scared home buyer, they need help with. And we've actually been seeing an industry trend of more and more referrals. So I would say keep up the good work with taking the time and showing the care. But part of that, on that tangent, is that a lot of home inspectors are starting YouTube channels where they will talk about either certain defects or how to read their home inspection report or things like that. And so creating a video blog, a YouTube channel, things like that are very, very good for millennials who like YouTubing things. You can also put in your service area, your service radius, and then hit save profile. The public profile that I was talking about over here, you would access and see what it looks like by hitting this view public profile button up top. And we really didn't fill anything out. So this is kind of what it looks like right now. And you'd be able to access your scheduling links and stuff like that from there. All right, so my next move is going to be returning to my dashboard. So my dashboard is my home base for Spectora. It's what I would open up at the beginning of the day to see how my home inspection business is running. So you can either click the dashboard button in the top left-hand corner or use the drop-down menu of your name to be able to access that dashboard area. So we're gonna click over here and go to dashboard. We have in your inspector profiles and your settings, and I'll go over those here in a little bit, a starting address for you as an inspector. So we realize that a lot of companies and inspectors have different addresses. And so this map, as you can see from our cute little car, is actually your driving directions for the day. And once you have a starting driving direction address in there, you can look at this map and see where you're going for the day. It's just kind of a cute little handy feature that kind of gives you an overview for your day. If you had any inspections scheduled for today, they would also be listed over here in this today box. And then as I scroll down, you can also see your calendar scheduled out for either the day, the week, 4 weeks, which is this week and next 3 weeks, or month, which is this calendar month, depending on what you like to watch. We also, if we keep scrolling down, have this in progress area. An inspection is in progress if you have not published all of the reports to the clients yet, if you have not released the inspection to them. So it's a good little reminder of hey, you've got something that the client hasn't seen yet. And so keep an eye on this in progress area as you're scheduling inspections and doing them to make sure that you've just completed everything. I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. If you are a tech nerd, which I realize there's a significant number of home inspectors who are, and then there's a significant number of home inspectors who are not very tech savvy. The good news is there's a small learning curve with Spectora, and then it's pretty user intuitive. But for my more tech savvy people who are interested in learning how we earn that subscription fee with you guys and how we're continually developing software, we push out a new feature about every 2 weeks. And we're constantly kind of improving the product based off of user feedback. You can see what's new in the what new section. And so we changed how our contacts were handled. That's great. We had fixes for a couple of things that happened. Great. The cost estimator tool can now exceed $100,000 for silly expensive roof projects, things like that. And then because the app, we also continually develop that. That's not a stagnant software either. We have the latest app news down here. The last time we did one was our reminders, which are internal things, were taking up too much room, so we made them less intrusive. Great. So you can just kind of check what's going and nerd out if you would like. If not, we don't change the main core of things that often, and if we do, we usually give a user update on it. And so if you're confused about something, chat bubble. It's funny, I always have a mantra for every webinar I have, and I guess this one is gonna be chat bubble. You can also click this help area and look for articles and look in our help center. Okay, so now, usually the next thing I see inspectors do after your company and your inspector profiles are set up is you would like to get into the meat of your inspection report. So oftentimes these are called templates, comments, narratives, things like that. We have some preloaded comments, and I'll show you those here in a second. We do also have importers from other softwares. If you're an inspector who's transitioning from another software, usually if you can export your narratives and your comments from your other software, we can import it into Spectora. Now, I'm not gonna, tell you that it's a one-to-one transfer because we are different softwares, but generally we can get the meat of your comments and everything in there, and then all you have to do is reorganize to fit the new software structure. So it's a lot easier than manually entering everything. But for this quick start, if you're looking to get off the ground and running, I would either use this templates button or the drop-down menu of my name to go to the template editor. And when I open this up, slowly, more and more of you guys are joining, which is super exciting, but it slows down my internet a little bit to be sharing this with so many people. We're over 50 inspectors right now, which is awesome. Okay, so the InterNACHI residential template, which is based off of the current standards of practice, is what comes preloaded. And that's just because InterNACHI has the largest portion of the market. We have a partnership with them where Kevin and Mike, our two founders, go up there and teach a class on Google marketing and SEO and the importance of website for every new inspector class. So if you guys are heading up to that inspector class in Boulder, you'll probably meet Kevin and Mike, which is great. We love doing that for you guys. So this comes out, and right now InterNACHI is teaching a systems-based approach of here's all your roof comments, here's your exterior, heating, cooling, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. They're in categories. They used to, and I believe Ashi still does, teach a more room-by-room approach. One of the great features about Spectora is that you can customize your template to however you would like your comments to be arranged. So sections are the largest folders of information. If I click into roof, here's all of my roof comments. Items are your subfolders. Here's all of my comments on coverings. Here's all of my comments on flashings. Then within each of these, I'm trying to find one that actually has things. There we go. It's better if I can see all three. We'll do two for now. Cool. And inside each of these subfolders, so now I'm in the exterior section, my siding, flashing, and trim item, so folder, subfolder. Here's all of my siding, flashing, and trim comments. We have 3 different types of comments. We've got informational, and those are your positive, good, or neutral comments. Generally, other softwares call those styles and materials, or sidings and materials is pretty much the most common one. We call them informational comments. A limitation, which we don't have any for this section right now, would be something that prohibited you from performing a full inspection. For those of us in a colder climate, Spectora is based in Denver, it would be something like snow on the roof, or it was a finished basement, so I couldn't inspect the foundation, or there's storage in front of the water heater, and so I couldn't actually get back to it. So a limitation would be a limitation to your inspection. A deficiency, which you can rename this 3rd category, is something that is wrong. It's something that you would like to point out to your client and your agent. You can rename that category whatever you want. I usually see a defect, an observation, or a finding. But you can choose whatever you would like. Those are just kind of the top 3. You are not stuck with this template. If you click this template center button in the upper right-hand corner, it is going to lead you to our template center. We have over 30 templates that you can download for free and get a feel for, see how other inspectors are doing it, and then you can customize and edit your own template, even bringing in their comments onto your template. And so we have a lot of, in the Spectora shared templates, we have special forms like the 4-point, the wind mitt that I was telling you guys about. We also have a commercial template, word destroying insects. For our termite people, we've got the MPMA 33, a room by room, mold, radon, all that good stuff. If I keep scrolling down, we have the featured community templates. And Ben Grimico, who is the lead trainer and one of the founders of Internachi, actually is a Spectora user, and he graciously wanted to share his template with home inspectors. And so you can download Big Ben's template if you would like to use that. It's a functional template that he uses on inspections. And he was actually awesome, and so many inspectors were wanting to watch him do a home inspection in real life. He got a camera crew at Internachi to follow him around for an entire inspection, and he screen shares how he performs a home inspection, and you can see his Spectora app on the screen the whole time. You can see exactly what he's doing and lead you through it. That is on the Internachi site, or if you type into the chat bubble, we have the link and you can go watch it. It's like an hour and a half or something of him doing a full home inspection report and his tips and tricks. It's really cool. Okay, and then if we keep on scrolling down, we've got the community shared templates. These are home inspectors throughout the country and actually the world. I think the last time I checked, we've got a couple from Australia and New Zealand in there. A lot of Spectora is global. We're here to stay. It's pretty great. But you can go through here and see if there is something in here that you would like. You can download as many of these as you would like. I would say this Cap City inspection for radon does really well. Most of these have a ton of downloads. Big Sky is pretty popular. But both of the blue skies are Softpaw. Sections Chances is pretty great. But generally, because where you're living, your regionality or language is going to, be specific to your area. I would say rather than looking at who has the coolest logo, look and see if you can find someone from your area, Bakersfield, California, St. Petersburg, Florida, and see what's on there. Like I said, you can import them into you just click on them. And then, come on, there we go. And then you can choose to add that template into your template center. You can download as many as you want for free. So now I'm back up at the top of the page and I'm gonna click this template editor button and open it up. I have a tutorial on the new user setup series on the basics of template editing. I'll do an extremely quick version now because we've got a lot to cover and we're already half an hour in. But I also have an in-depth 2-hour webinar on how to edit your template in every single conceivable way. And so you have no lack of webinars and training videos on how to edit your template. We've already covered what an item and a section and a comment is. Your template is your master that reports that are assigned to inspections are generated from. So this is your cookie cutter. I do always like to point out that because your template is like a cookie cutter, once your report for a particular inspection is stamped out from your template, your report is independent from your template, which is great because you can add one-off comments like, hey, this house is something really weird, and you don't have to necessarily save it back up to your template. The downside is if you make a change to your template, if you would like it to apply, if you would like it to apply to a report, template changes affect all reports built in the future. So all you would have to do is regenerate that report. Not a big deal if there's no data on it. And we've got help articles about how to do that too. I mean, the silly comparison that I always make is if the template is the cookie cutter, then your report is a cookie. And once you stamp out that cookie, if you bend the cookie cutter, it's obviously not going to bend the cookie. But if you restamp that cookie, now you've got a cookie that looks like your bent cookie cutter. It's silly, but somehow it works with a lot of home inspectors to understand what I'm talking about with that one. In Spectora, we also have sections and items can be either included in every report or optional. If I scroll down here, you'll see that I have some blue sections and some gray sections, and the blue ones are included in every report. The gray ones are optional, which you can bring on a per report basis, either on the web editor or on your Spectora app. They're loaded in the background. And they would be things like built-in appliances or a garage. I see pool a lot. And so you could build out these sections in your template or these items within your template, and you can bring them in as you need them. Most successful, efficient home inspectors using Spectora have a basic template that is somewhere around 1,000 comments because of the ability to do the one-offs. So gone are the days of a 10,000 comment template. I hate to break it to you guys, those are not efficient and you probably don't use all of them. So a lot of inspectors moving over to Spectora take some time and whittle them down and make their template more efficient. It's a great opportunity to do that. And it's super easy to duplicate things, like if you're on a house and it has 2 garages, all you would have to do is, instead of having 2 garages built into your report in the first place, just duplicate the section. It's nice and easy. Okay, we've covered that. Informational comments. We actually have a lot of different types of comments. I think Roof might actually have a couple of them. Nope, I'm striking out on Roof today. Normally it's my go-to. Anyway, so comments, you can choose to have a couple different types of comments. If I click that plus new comment button, it brings up this add new comment. You can name it new comment, comment, and then you choose what's the answer format type. A checkbox is as if you're going to check off a checklist on a page. You either leave it blank or you check it on. It's on or off, present or not present. Multiple choice would be usually used for something like a brand name or a material type, where you just put in your most commonly found shingle materials. And then instead of having to type in exactly what they were, their asphalt, tile, whatever it is, you would just have a multiple choice box and you can check it and turn it on. We've got date type formats that pull up a calendar. Those are great for like water heater and things like that. Number is going to pull up your number pad on your app when you're using your report writer app. And so you would type in a number, usually something like gallon capacity is used for number, or age of home. Numeric range, same thing. We've got signature, and then we've got a text type comment. A text type comment is something you would need to type something into to activate it. And so that would be something like a serial number, usually is the most common one I see for text types. Yep, cool. You can do all sorts of stuff because Spectora's reports are web reports. I'm sorry, I have the hiccups. This is super inconvenient that I have the hiccups right now. We're good. You can add body text. That's going to be like the description. So if this is the title of like what kind of material it was, let's actually click out and look at it. So like this material is what kind of flashings it is. It's got multiple choice of all of these. If I wanted to include a description of why knowing the flashing material is important or something like that, you would enter it here. And because we're a web-based software with web reports, you can do awesome things like add hyperlinks to YouTube videos and images and videos you record, things like that. So you've got a lot of different options here. If I scroll down and go to deficiencies, I'm actually going to pull up some sample reports in the background right now so that I can show you what they look like. Because I know it's kind of hard to look at the template and not realize what the actual reports are going to look like. We have defects, observations, findings, whatever your red bad category is, can be sorted into 3 different defect severities in Spectora: blue, orange, and red. You can name them whatever you want. I usually see blue defect severity being low, and it's something that the homeowner can fix themselves. Orange is something that you would recommend a professional to repair. Usually recommended repair is what I see people call it. And then red is going to be something like a safety hazard. And so you can default, oh, corrosion, that's probably just a maintenance item or a recommendation. And you can default each of these defects in your template to this defect severity. You can, of course, change it if you are seeing something and you're like, it's corroded minor, but I still think it's safety. And so you can change it on an actual report, but you can choose what it's going to default to in your template. Save you a little bit more time. A recommendation is going to be who you are recommending to fix it. This is a set list right now. There are some language and things like that that are illegal between different states. We don't actually allow you guys to edit this right now. So if you have a particular thing that is missing in this list, you can either submit it and it can be added as a feature request, or you can just add it in the body text of the comment, which is what I see most people do. But this is a pretty comprehensive list. I would say that qualified professional for inspectors using this recommendation tool, qualified professional is like 80 to 85%. And then you get into a waterproofing company, a tree service, like things like that, the specialties. But there's a DIY, there's a monitor, there's things like that. Some people love them. Some people absolutely refuse to give a recommendation and don't want their hands on that at all. Completely up to you as an inspector and your local laws. I mention laws because there are things like you can't recommend a company for repair because you could have your hand in your pocket or something like that. So yeah, make sure that you know your local ordinances very well. Cool. I'm gonna look at these sample reports with you guys right now so you guys kind of get an idea, and then we're gonna go into some structure and things like that. But if you have more template editing questions, like I said, I would really recommend that you guys watch my short tutorial in the new user setup series, or if you've got some time and you wanna know absolutely how to do everything, watch my template editing webinar. I mean, I think they're good, but I also made them, so, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna click onto this other page, our home inspection reports. One of the other industry trends, I'm gonna click around real quick, but I promise I'll slow down here in 1 second to show you guys what we're looking at. I just want them to load in the background. Okay, so the other industry trend that I'm seeing is inspectors moving away from, I don't know if you guys can see it that well, you'll be able to see it well here in a second once these reports load. This checkbox type of inspected, not present deficiency. Most home inspectors used to use that a couple decades ago, to be honest with you. There's still a huge number of inspectors who do, but I do see a huge industry trend of inspectors moving to a more narrative style approach. More descriptions, it's you read as you go through, it's not a basic summary. Usually I see that in an effort for to try to get your clients and your agents to actually read the report and not just look at your checklist. Again, it's part of the educational versus here's what's wrong kind of thing. And so let's see which one I have loaded up yet. Okay, that guy's still working. All right, Chris Cochran is one of our faves. He's down in Arkansas. He's just an all-around awesome guy. This is his sample report. I guess I haven't mentioned that yet. You can choose any report in Spectora, and we have a tool called Making Your Sample Report, and it anonymizes the reports from all client data and changes the address to 1234 Main Street. It gives you a generic agent. It replaces all clients' information, stuff like that. And so you can take an actual home inspection that you did, and you can hand it out to potential clients and agents and say, hey, look at me, look how awesome I am, and impress them with how modern your report is and all these tools that they have. And so Chris actually prefers to do a narrative style approach. And one of the cool things about Spectora is that you can actually upload pictures and videos into any type comment, that informational, limitation, or defects type comment. So I see a lot of inspectors putting pictures of the house, pictures of the roof, things like that into the informational area, because when's your client really going to climb on the roof? You're providing them a service by going up there and showing them what it looks like. And so you're adding value. It's all about adding value to your clients and your agents. One of the other cool things he's grid style. He's grid style, and so he's got grid. And so you've got the overview of grid here, and then you can click here and see the informational types comments for his roof section. You can also choose to include the standards of practice in there if you would like. It's an option. You don't have to have it. But then what I was telling you guys about the defect category severity ratings is this is a blue one, it's got the wrench. This is an orange one that's got the recommendation. And so we deliberately tried to make this as Pinterest, as visual friendly as possible, because when you're handing a home inspector, or excuse me, when you're handing a potential home buyer or an agent a 60-page PDF, it's going to be really hard for them to sort through and see exactly what's wrong, things like that. By color coding, by making it extremely user-friendly, by using this modular design, we are significantly improving your rates that your clients and agents are going to read these portions of the report, and that's super important. One of the cool things also about this system is that if you look up here at the top, we've got the full report, and that's what we're looking at right now, but we also have this summary button. And if you hit the summary button, it's going to pull all of the defects from all of your sections. So if your agent doesn't want to scroll through the full report, they just need the nitty-gritty, they can go to the summary and see all of your defects. You can also, if you have any that are red, like this house has foundation and structure trouble, and he's worried, it's a safety immediate concern is what he calls it, you can click on those and get a summary of only the immediate concerns in there. So now we've got only the red ones. Now, a tool that we built that is getting home inspectors a huge amount of agent referrals. It's actually the reason why Spectora came to be. One of our two founders, Kevin, used to be a home selling agent, and doing the observation text and the repair request addendums, things like that, were just a pain in his butt. And he dreaded doing them, and they took him hours, and he was like, there has to be a better way. And then his brother, Mike, is a coder and a developer, and he was like, well, yeah, let's make it. And so we built agent-friendly tools into the Spectora system, including if you click in the upper right-hand corner of any web report, you'll see that I have, my picture might actually be covering it up, I'm not sure, but there should be these things called report tools. And if we click on report tools, we've got two options. An observation copy paste text will literally just copy and paste all the summary without the pictures in it. So it's easy for them to put in. Some states require like a repair addendum in there. But we have this thing called the repair request builder, and agents go wild for it. I highly request also making a sample repair request builder to show them how easy it is. It will get you business. So if you click on repair request builder and open it up, what the tool is going to do, and this is agent facing, they can use it, and we have tutorial videos on our YouTube that you can use and send in the emails. My internet slowed down a little bit there. We have YouTube tutorials of how to teach your agents how to use this. So you don't necessarily have to do all the teaching. You can if you want, but you can name the document, you can store the document by order, but if we scroll down here, you can choose which defects you would like included in the report. So in this case, these are roof covering an aging roof, and they can select, yes, I would like to include this defect in my repair request. This is what the client's agent is setting to the listing agent as a negotiation tool. And they can say, I would like to do a $100 credit. And I would like to also leave a comment that says $100 or you fix it and we lower price. Something like that. Now, when you're done, or when the agent's done, they can either preview it or create. And when they create their repair request to send out, we actually have the tools for them to email it out integrated into the platform already. So they have this link to be able to access their repair request, or they can choose to email or even text out this repair request builder. I cannot tell you how many times we've heard phenomenal reviews from an agent who used this tool and then texted their repair request to the listing agent, and the listing agent was like, whew, they are on their game. And it super impressed everybody, and it was great for the clients, and it was wonderful, and super proud of it. So more in-depth tutorial of how to use the repair request builder on there. All right, I'm trying to summarize everything and go super quickly. All right, so the other type of sample report that I wanted to show you guys is this one over here. So this is Casey Bartley. He's absolutely wonderful. He's out of Tennessee, same thing, 1234 Main Street. This is his sample report, generic agent. Oh, every Spectora web report also has a PDF option. Some particularly older generation clients and agents really, really love their PDFs versus the web reports that this is a millennial thing, but it's super time consuming and hard to do. Look at a PDF on a smaller screen, like an iPad or a phone, and you have to do the scroll in thing. Web reports will automatically resize to the size of the screen, making them a lot more user-friendly. It makes you look more professional, and it just makes everybody's life a little bit easier. But if you really, really, really want a PDF, you can go over here to the PDF button. It's on every web report, open it up, and you can either make a summary PDF or a full report PDF. Okay, this would be a more narrative style report approach. And so if you don't have your checkbox of lists, you can just have your informational tab show first. Great. Okay, that's what we look like. There's the repair request builder. Let's get your account set up because we're quick starting. We kind of had to cover that. So we're closing out of all these tabs. Now we're back to here. Okay, so now I'm back to Spectora.com. For the sake of continuity, I'm gonna go over here to the dashboard and click the dashboard here to start at my home base again. Okay, so we've got a basic understanding, super, super basic, like I said, easy to get more information on it, your templates. Or you can download any of the templates, Ben's, the Internachi Residential, and I do see home inspectors starting to play around with the software or even do their first couple inspections on the more basic templates and add as they go. It's very easy. The next step for me would actually be setting up your services and fees and your automated emails. So we're going to go into settings. You can either use this settings button right here or use the drop-down menu of your name and go to settings. And in settings, you're gonna have a ton of different tools with, first I'll cover services and fees, and then we'll shortly cover availability, scheduling options, things like that. If you see this orange beta tag, there are features that we are testing right now because we're continually developing software, super fun. But so this is where you would, this settings area is where you would control what scheduling options you have, your pre-inspection agreement templates. If you have an integrated payment option, that's actually a pretty easy one that we can handle here in 1 second. Every inspection in Spectora has a client portal where you email the link out to them through our automated email system. That's where their home base is for the inspection. It's where they sign the agreement, pay you, and ultimately view the reports. And so you can have an integrated online payment system. We have a partnership with Stripe for a payment processor. I can give you more information on that on the chat bubble. But we have a lower transaction rate due to our partnership. We're down at 2.75% instead of up at 2.9 like Square or a couple other payment processors. So I highly recommend, if you're quick starting and you want to be able to get payment, just set up a Spectora Payments payment processor account. We don't have a membership fee for that. It's just the transaction fee, no monthly extra fee, anything like that. So more information, chat bubble. All right, close that. You can choose between two different schedulers, the online scheduler and the inspection request form. The online scheduler, you set up availability based off of dates. It gives quotes, things like that. It's a calendar where they select a time and a date. I would say the vast majority of our inspectors use the online scheduler. And I would highly recommend using the online scheduler versus the inspection request form. We live in a very instant gratification society where people want to get an appointment now. We also do have an inspection request form. It's more like a contact form. It doesn't check availability or give them a choice of calendar and dates. They request a time and a date, but you ultimately would have to then contact them, talk to them. You can upsell them. I see a lot of companies doing that. But you would then have to schedule the inspection. So one of them is they can schedule themselves, and then in the inspection request form would be a contact form where then you need to reach out to them. We've got email settings, text settings. We've got some universal to Spectora like location tags are a thing. I'm not going to cover the app today. There's just not enough time, and we have a ton of different videos on the app tutorials and the webinars and things like that. And so it'll be much easier to understand if you go watch some of those than this fire hose of information I'm throwing at you. Company settings, we've got integrations with a ton of different companies. You can back up your documents to Google Drive every night. QuickBooks, MailChimp, which is a mass marketing, Infusionsoft, that's CRM. We've got call center stuff. We do integrate with ISN, although most companies honestly find that our business tools, you can replace ISN. And if we can't currently replace all the functionality of ISN, we have a ton that are in beta testing right now, which makes us be a matching platform. And so if not now, soon. Or if you're interested in being a beta tester, you can use them now. Recall check, RSG. You can add localizations. You can do all sorts of good stuff. Where you would add your driving directions starting address, I mentioned that on the map on the dashboard, is if you click dashboard settings, you can actually enter your starting address for driving directions in here. Sound like a broken record, but on my new user setup series on YouTube, I have an entire tutorial that's like 10 minutes long. It's not very long at all, but it's on all your settings. So if you would like more information on the settings page, head over there. Okay, cool. After this webinar, of course. All right, so now doing what I promised. So many tangents. Now, you're gonna wanna set up your services and fees. I always crack this joke, but it's true. There's a lot of home inspectors who do home inspections for charities or for free and things like that, but the majority of you are in this industry as a profession. So setting up pricing modifiers and your pricing structure is pretty darn important. So what I did is I went to settings, and then up top, there's this services and fees area. This is also a time-saving tool because you can set up templates and pre-inspection agreements to populate per service. So you're not having to go in and create an inspection agreement every time, and you're not having to go in and choose which reports and which templates that you need. You can just say, hey, this person would like a residential inspection. Here's my template. Here's my pre-inspection agreement. And so a lot of that automated business stuff is going to save you a ton of time. So to open up my residential inspection service, I'm going to click it and it's going to open. I can name my service whatever I want. Pricing structures in Spectora are additive. And what I mean by that is you set a base cost, and then we have modifiers for square footage, age of home, year built, if you have a particular zip code. I was telling you guys earlier about miles away or kilometers away from the company address for a distance modifier. And so it's going to take this base fee of $300, and for every range of modifier, like for square feet between 0 and 500, it's going to add the fee in here. So in this case, if I hit modifier again, if I have a house that's between 500 and 5,000 square feet, I would like to add $50. If I go to schedule an inspection and I am a 1,000 square foot house, the pricing structure is going to say, all right, 300 plus 50, 350, nice and easy. These numbers do need to be ranges. And so you can't have an open-ended one. It has to fit into something. And so for example, if you are creating a modifier for year built, you can say houses built between 1900 and 1950 at $100. Those are going to take me a little extra time. So make sure when I'm scheduling, there's also a base duration for how long your inspection is going to take you. Add duration of hours. So add 1 hour to this inspection. So anytime a house is scheduled that is built between 1900 and 1950, it's going to automatically make the duration of that inspection for your schedule 3.5 hours. Now, you can also have add-on services. I see people doing these one of two ways. You can either create a list of services that are completely a la carte, a residential service, a radon service, a sewer scope, things like that, and have them all listed as services. Or you can choose a residential inspection with several different add-ons that are essentially upsells. The difference being a client could potentially schedule you for a radon only inspection if everything is listed as a service. But if it's an add-on, they can't just schedule an add-on. So you could only, if you only had an add-on for radon, then they would have to schedule a home inspection, and radon would be an upsell. They can't just do radon. You would add a service by down here. Taxes, always a weirdly touchy subject. We built this out for our Canadian inspectors. In the United States, taxes are not serviceable. Wow, that was terrible. Services are not taxable. Goods are, but services are not, and home inspections are considered services. And so if you're in the United States, you're probably not going to use this tax option. I do see home inspection companies trying to be sneaky and put in your credit card processing fee as a tax. I would put in a word of warning. Putting a credit card processing fee back on the client is illegal in some states. So check your state laws about whether or not you can charge the client for a credit card processing fee explicitly. Reason being that transaction fee and refund, you could potentially keep on charging a client and then refunding it, and they would get the transaction process, but you would get all the money. And so you're costing them more than their services, which is not okay, apparently. So check your local laws if you're allowed to put the credit card processing fee back on the client. Yeah, always safe than sorry. If you want to do this in a more definitely legal way, just add a couple bucks to your base price instead, and take account for it, and then give a discount for cash or check. I see that one a lot. So instead of a $300 base cost, well, I know that 3% of 300 is going to be X amount added in there. I didn't feel like doing the math in that minute. That was embarrassing, but you know what I mean. And so whatever, we'll just make it a nice, easy round number. So I would charge $305. Now I'm completely covered for the transaction. It looks fine to the client, and you're not in any trouble legally for that. And then what you could do is create an add-on called cash or check discount. And if you pay on site, then they get a $5 discount. And now you're back to being normal and not charging them more than you want. Cool. All right. There's a tutorial on this on the New User Setup series. Now, if you're choosing the online scheduler, so I just hit settings to go back to my settings. If you're choosing the online scheduler, like I said, that's the one that where you have a calendar, then you're going to need to set up when you're available. If you give a mouse a glass of milk and a cookie, they're gonna want all sorts of stuff. Okay, so if you're using the online scheduler, you're gonna want to set up your availability. So if you click availability and open it up, each inspector for my company, I think we're like best home inspection company or something ever right now, is going to have their own schedule. And you would click to open it and scroll down. Now you can do availability in one of two ways. You can either do open scheduling. That would be, you can schedule me anytime between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Or you can do time slots, which is I would like a 9 a.m. inspection and a 1 p.m. inspection. Open scheduling, I always do like to mention that this time, currently we're on open scheduling, you can just click this and it'll toggle over to time slots. In open scheduling, this 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., this 5 p.m. end time is when the end of your final inspection is over. To make that easier to understand, while if I have a 3-hour inspection, the latest possible time I could get scheduled would be 2 p.m. So 5 p.m. is the absolute hard end time when you're clocking out. Excuse me. So if you're okay working until 7 p.m. and you have a 2-hour inspection, put 5 p.m. If you would like to be done at 5 p.m. and go home, put 5 p.m. Those are called time blocks. You can have multiple time blocks. If you're doing time slots, then this plus block would say plus slot. Easy enough. So add your availability and your scheduling in there. It books out for 1 week. If you have conflicts, which would mean you couldn't do your normal schedule, we have a Google Calendar integration that you can put an event in Google and pull it over and it'll block off your availability in Spectora. Great for when you have a dentist appointment in Google Calendar and you don't want to have to reschedule a home inspection because you have a dentist appointment. So either use the Google Calendar integration, or if I click back out to dashboard here, I can actually add specific events to my Spectora calendar, which I cannot be scheduled for or over. So by the client. And so if I go to this calendar area right now, and let's say on the 20th, which is my next webinar date, I can click on that day and you can either schedule an inspection or you can schedule an event, and I would schedule an event called Time Off Webinar. And I can say, be ready, whatever. If you've got multiple inspectors in your company, you can assign this event to someone, and then it will block off time, currently 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can edit those, time, date, if you're going on vacation for a week, stuff like that. So you're not constantly having to tinker with your master template of availability. And then I would add, and now I have this time slot from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I cannot be scheduled on the 20th. Easy enough. So that availability section is your master template from availability. If you have one-off events that you would like to block off, you would add them to the calendar or set up your Google Calendar integration, and you would add them in Google and they'll pipe over to Spectora. And the cool thing about the Google Calendar integration is that Spectora will also pipe over inspections to Google. And so instead of having to manage calendars in multiple places, you can just do it in Google Calendar. Great. All right, we've done services. We've done availability. We have done, what else do we need to do? We've done templates. Contacts is contact tracking. Any client that's attached to an inspection is in there, and any agent you can put in there. If you're coming from ISN and transitioning over to Spectora, or if you just have an Excel sheet of a bunch of agents that you would like imported in here, we have importers. So you can bring over all of your inspection data with you, which is great for your metrics. We have business metrics in there of how many inspections you've done, what's your total revenue, things like that. We're expanding that section. That'll be public here to non-beta users, to everybody, to the public. Here extremely shortly, just in a couple weeks. And so you're gonna have a ton more numbers in there, but right now it's pretty awesome in there anyway. Okay, we've got that. Briefly, let's do scheduler. The online scheduler and the inspection request form are both client facing. So the link that you're going to give your agents and your clients to schedule you. And so online scheduler, like I said, is what the majority of people use. I would enable online scheduling. This don't allow scheduling within is the buffer period of time that you need notice for an inspection. I most commonly see this to be 24 hours. That means that I know my schedule for tomorrow today. I can't be booked for a last minute inspection. If you're okay with being booked at the extreme last minute and you're just like, give me any business, I will take it. You can have 1 hour, you can have 4 hours. You just would need to stay on top of your schedule a little bit more. Show client pricing details is whether or not you would like them to just see the total of each line item on the invoice, your residential, your sewer, your radon, or if you would like to tell them how you got to your eventual number with pricing modifiers. If you would like them to see that you have a distance modifier or a square footage modifier, things like that. So it's whether or not you have line items or line items with descriptions. Require confirmation, even when you're using the online scheduler that gives them that calendar and it checks your availability back and forth, you can still require confirmation where they get to set a time and a date, but you get the ultimate yes and can change fees and structures and things like that before it actually becomes a real full scheduled inspection. I see a lot of people with this require confirmation up here. And then if I scroll down, and I have a new user tutorial on schedulers and how to set up your availability and things like that. So if I'm going too fast for you, in fairness, this is the quick start. So I was going to speak rather quickly. But I have tutorials where I go slower. You can choose to receive an email whenever someone books you. You can also receive an email when a booking is in progress and clients has entered information is great, because what that actually translates to is if someone starts filling out your online scheduler and then navigates away from the page, we send you an email with the information that they did enter. And so you can call them up and be like, hey, I saw you were interested in a home inspection, but you didn't actually book one. Why not? What can I do to get you booked? And so you're not going to miss out on that opportunity for business. So I highly recommend that you turn in progress notifications on. Don't miss out on business if you already got them to your web page. If you already got them in the scheduler, get the email. Okay, scrolling down. You can click this big blue button for My Online Scheduler, and it will open up your online scheduler. If you have a website of your own already built, you can use this iframe embed code to embed the online scheduler into your existing website. It works for most website platforms, your WordPresses, things like that. If you have someone else designing your website, you can also give that to them. We do design websites. They are gorgeous. Our web team is great and they're super affordable. And like I said, we've got the website or the Jumpstart package to bundle your website and your software together. And so if you do not have a website for your home inspection business, I cannot more highly recommend something to you. We live in a very modern society, and one of the first things that I'm going to do to make sure you're a legit business is Google you. And so having a website where you can send people, it makes you look professional and verifies you as a professional. And it's going to make your life easier because you can stick an online scheduler up there and just send them a link and they can schedule themselves. So cool. Website. Oh, also, if you own a domain, so a website name, many hosting companies and domain ownership companies like GoDaddy, for one, give you one free email at that domain. So it'd be like casey@spectora.com if Spectora was my domain. But a lot of times you would like more than that email. Spectora, in an effort to still be your one-stop shop, we became a Google G Suite email reseller. And so we can do all the legwork for you in setting up a G Suite company account. at that domain. And so you can say, I would like Mike at besthomeinspectionsever.com, and I would like Jerry at besthomeinspections.com, and we can set up emails for you with hosting for those emails and stuff like that. So if you're interested in G Suite emails for your company at your domain, we can do it for you. Tech support chat bubble me. Okay, so my online scheduler, click it, open it up. What's it look like? Page number 1 is going to, if I had a picture there and a logo there and more information there, then this would all display up here. This is my public profile that I was showing you guys before. If I had a sample report, there would be a sample report button up here. Okay, so it's going to show services. And so they can first select a service. Then they can start typing in their address, 66 South Logan Street in Denver. That is our office address here. We work in a hipster, cool, collaborative workspace. And so that's this crazy warehouse that I'm in right now, where you can see people in the background. I'm in a conference room. Okay, so it's going to find Google. One of the cool things about this Google and Zillow lookup is that if there is a Zillow listing for that house, it's going to help them with approximate square footage and year that the property was built, because a lot of potential home buyers don't actually know that information for sure. And so you're helping them with tools to get your pricing modifiers to be more effective. And so if I had a pricing modifier, those 2 would now apply. And you can see if it's occupied, if the utilities are on, things like that. And then they would click next, and we would go over here to client information. And one of the reasons, by the way, that we set it up this way with having a home and then, or putting in the address information and then the client information, is to help you qualify leads. If we first were putting in just the calendar first, so they can see and pick that first, you wouldn't be able to capture their client information first, and you could have an existing client booking you for a home inspection when they just really wanted a phone call, things like that. So putting in the service that they're signing up for and the contact information allows you to have their information, and it qualifies them as a lead. In the future, we may give more customizability to this, but for right now, you want to grab their information and then show them the availability calendar. So for this, we're going to put in Kevin. And we're going to do support@spectora.com. That is our the email for our tech support chat bubble. And then you can add a second client if you have an unmarried couple or they just have different last names, no judgment. Or you see that often when there is in Florida, when there is an elderly person who is buying a house and they don't have an email, their name needs to be on the agreement, but they put a second client as like a granddaughter who helps them with the technology things. That could be a second client. All sorts of use cases for that. If you have an agent already in the system, which we don't, they could just start typing in their name and it will search for them. And so they don't have to put in their information again. Pretty cool. And if you have a listing agent, you can add one in there. And then you would hit next. The hiccups are back. This is not the most awkward thing that's ever happened in a webinar. I've got 2 actually to beat you and make you guys laugh. As one time I was doing a webinar in this very room, and there's a balcony right over my shoulder. People just started making out back there. And somebody typed into the chat with a question and was like, "Oh my God, people are making out right behind you." And I turned bright cherry red. It was hilarious. And then after the first conference that we ever went to, which was Atlantic City and Nanachi almost 2 years ago now, I lost my voice completely and then tried to do a webinar and I sounded like a frog. It was bad. So hiccups, not the worst thing. Got a lot better at public speaking and making a fool of myself, believe me. Okay, anyway. Okay, blinders on. So we did the services. We did the contact information. Now, based off of my availability, your client or your agent is going to be able to click on dates and choose when to schedule you. This is great because there is such a higher conversion rate when you actually get a date and a time and they put it in their calendar. And so instant gratification, get them a time and a date. So if I would like to do 12:30 on the 23rd, My next page, when I select that date, is going to be a quote. And so this is where you're going to be able to see residential inspection. We didn't have any pricing modifiers that apply. It's going to take me 3.5 hours at 12:30. Hey, you're with me. Here's your address. Here's the total for it. And then they, as a client or an agent, can say the lockbox code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my luggage. Great spot, Spaceballs quote. Yeah, I've got a nerd for dad. It's chill. Okay, so lockbox code, you can say has dog, whatever you want. And then they would hit submit. And now you, as an inspector, are going to get a home inspection request because we had that turned on, which goes over here. So now I'm back on my dashboard, and now I have an unconfirmed inspection request. We would click on it and open it up. And this is where I would fiddle with, hey, they just submitted this to me. This is Kevin. You know, I just upsold them. Let's add something here. Let's add a fee for radon for $100. Oh, wait, he's an ex-military. I want to support our troops. Here's a $25 discount, which would be a negative value fee, which is negative value, simple addition for a 500, negative 25. You can, the system will default to requiring payment and getting your agreement signed before they can view the inspection report when you publish it. And so if there's an unpaid payment or an unsigned agreement, they can't view it. It kicks them out and sends them back to the portal to perform whatever thing they haven't done yet. You can choose to override the need for payment if you're doing it for a friend or they're paying at closing, something like that. The agreement, there is no override for. If there is an unsigned agreement, they cannot view the agreement until it is signed. Good legal practice. Great. And then you would confirm the inspection and go forward. Now, we're going to jump into emails before we get to the inspection details page really here quickly, because when I hit this confirm inspection button, what I'm going to do is trigger the scheduling email. So hitting this confirm inspection button, I have now scheduled an inspection. Let's give this a second and I'm going to drink my water. Cool. Okay, so now we have an inspection here. We're going to take a slight detour into automation. So automation up here at top, or use the drop-down menu of your name and go to automation. Automation is the suite of emails and text messages that you can set up templates for to automatically trigger. It's one of the huge time savers with Spectora is you no longer have to manually email everybody. We have automatic emails for scheduling and rescheduling and text messages. You can set up different templates for the client's agents, and the listing agents. You can set up scheduling, rescheduling. If you add a new agreement or a new fee to an existing inspection, it will send an automatic email or text message out saying, hey, there's something new you have to do. Pre-inspection, text or email reminders to client agents, listing agents saying, hey, it's a week out, heads up, do you need to reschedule? Or would you like to add a radon? Here's all the radon scientific data about why you should do a radon upsell. Here, 2 hours before, if you haven't already sent me the lockbox code, please do it. Otherwise, I'm going to charge you $100 anyway for going out and then being locked out of the house and not being able to perform the home inspection. Nicely, of course. Report is the report ready email. When you are publishing your report to the client or agent, that's the email that goes out. It's always good to note that it's illegal in some states to directly send the report out to the listing agent. You can only send it to the clients or the client's agent. And so we don't even give the option in the platform to directly email the listing agent. We don't want anybody getting in trouble. And so this is the clients and the client's agents, no listing agent. Everything else has a listing agent option, just not report ready. And post-inspection is where you're going to ask for those reviews and those follow-ups. For the clients and the client's agent, you can choose a combination of emails and text messages or one or the other. I generally see a pretty immediate following the inspection, like 2 hours afterwards. Send them a text message saying, hey, you'll have your report by the end of the day. I hope you, enjoyed your home inspection. Thank you so much for your business. Would you mind leaving me a review? And then, so the kind of most common scheme for this is 2 hours after the inspection, a day after the home inspection, a week after the home inspection, and 21 days or a full year after the home inspection to remind them to do a 365-day follow-up inspection and get you some more inspections. A lot of words, inspections right there. Cool. And so all you do to go into any of these and edit the templates, which they are all set up with the default, you just have to turn them all on. So for this inspection confirmation email for clients, you would click edit template. I have a tutorial on this, but they will work right now. And this is quick start. So you can use these base templates and edit them later. Would be these curly brackets, curly Q. These curly brackets are things that coders call placeholders or variables. They are what's going to pull that information from the scheduling information, from the inspection details. Meaning, if I schedule an inspection, and I just scheduled one for Laura, she's one of our web designers, then my email is automatically going to say, hi, Laura, right there, making it seem like it's super personal. It's not like, hi, dear clients, and stiffy. You can just say, hi, Laura. Same thing with the inspection address, with the inspection date. All of these orange buttons over here are potential placeholders or variables that you can use. I would highly recommend keeping inspection link in there. That will lead your client to the client portal that I'll show you here in a minute. But that's where they go to sign their agreement and pay you. And so it says, before your home inspection, please accept your inspection agreement and deliver payment there. If you're not quite ready to accept payments online, all you have to do is go into your automation templates, and I would delete those words. It's as simple as that. Please accept your inspection agreement, and then do it there. Great. Yeah, so you can use those, tutorial on those. And you can do all sorts of all sorts of customization. There you go. But make sure you do scroll down and hit save email template. Navigating away from the page won't save it. You gotta hit save. So I kind of did that deliberately because it was gonna take a couple minutes. Actually, I don't think we put in client data. No, we did. Internal debate publicly. That was embarrassing, whatever. So if I am in my dashboard and I scroll all the way down and I go to the 23rd, which is when we scheduled our online scheduler inspection, and open it up, it takes a couple minutes for our email processing to form the email, send it to our email server, who sends it to your email server, who sends it to their email server. So there's a lot of background scenes for sending this automated email. So me explaining them to you gave us a couple minutes. So now that I have this inspection scheduled, if I scroll all the way down, and I promise to go back up to the top of the page and scroll back down, I'm just kind of trying to go with the flow of thought here. If I scroll down here, you'll see that I have an email, and the bottom of the home inspections page is the track record of what's in the queue and what is going to be sent, what has been sent, and the status of the emails and the text messages. So in this case, we sent the home inspection confirmation, that's the scheduling email, to support@spectora.com. And we get to see that it's delivered, and it was delivered at this period of time. Same thing if we had text messages set up. And so you are able to, at any point, go to a home inspection and say, I really wonder if this client or agent got my email or if they opened it. And so you can scroll down here, and we've got a couple different words that can be used. If they open their email, you'll then see opened. So delivered, opened. Processing means it hasn't fully been sent yet for one reason or another. There's bounced, there's dropped, there's a couple things for like if you put in the email wrong and there's no one to send it to, things like that. But most likely you'll just see delivered and opened. And so you can check statuses here. You can also, if you forget what you say to people, you can click on these emails and they will actually open up the email that was sent For the actual email that is sent out, there is a header and a footer. The header is your logo and the footer is either your inspector or company information based off of your point of contact. But we figure you know what you look like and what your company looks like. And so if you'd like to see what an actual email looks like and not just the content of the body of the email, set up a home inspection and email your personal address or something like that. And you can see the header and the footer in there as well. But here's the body of the text. Here's the link to the inspection details page that gets you to the client portal, which we're just inching closer to be showing. I feel like I brought it up like 9 times now. So, okay, so next on our list is going to be looking at the inspection details page. If we open it up here, and I have a whole tutorial on this as well. So this is going to be if I need to reschedule or I misspelled the name of the inspection address. There we go. Forgot the word address. This date and time up here and the address are clickable. And if I click them, this is how I would reschedule. And then if I click the address, it's going to open up the property details for me to, I hate the hiccups, for me to edit the property details. If there is a Zillow address for this account and this cover photo populated for that, and you're like, no, that's completely wrong, I don't want that in there, everything's wrong, it's the wrong house, you can just set incorrect data and it will disable all that stuff that was pre-populated. Okay, so that was like the square footage, year built, things like that. So we hit save. Cool. Now we have this. And if we scroll down, all right, familiarizing yourself with the inspection details page. People are everyone who is important. The web-based platform of Spectora, anyone who is an inspector or a support staff for your company can access the inspection details page for that inspection. The companion report writer app is only for inspectors on site, so support staff can't use the app. To get an inspection from Spectora.com over to the Apple or Android app, you have to be signed in to the app and have the matching inspector, so in this case, me, assigned to the inspection. And so the easier way to understand that would be if I'm an inspector and Kevin's an inspector and we work for the same company, I'm not going to be able to see Kevin's inspections because I'm not assigned to them. So my app is only going to show my inspections, make things super easy. You can add clients, agents, inspectors by hitting this plus new button, and you can add more people there. Inspector wasn't on there because I'm the only inspector on my company right now, but if you had more than one inspector on your company, then you would see the inspector button up there. Reports are all the reports that are assigned to the inspection. And so these are what you're going to edit and ultimately send to the client. This is the cookie to your master cookie cutter template. As you see, this report will be built from your template at 3 a.m. What that means is if you don't want to tinker with the report ahead of time, we will build the report for you from the template at 3 a.m. the morning of the inspection. So you don't have to do anything manually unless you want to. If you would like to open up the report before the day of the inspection, all you have to do is hit these 3 little dots to the right of the report and hit build now. And that's going to trigger your report to build from the template. You can also add additional reports by hitting the plus new button to bring in a new template. If you're on your free trial and you only want to, save your published inspections for actual paying clients, you would schedule a mock inspection here. And then you would, instead of hitting this publish, which will send the report to someone, you can hit these 3 dots again and you can delete this report, add a new report, and you can keep going indefinitely of deleting this report, adding a new report, getting comfortable. And as so long as you don't publish it to anyone, you can keep on doing that and doing that and doing that without having to reschedule a new inspection. So that's kind of how we let you get away with as much time as possible on the free trial. Fees and payments, Spectora inspections, because of the pricing modifiers, but because of the services, they all have an invoice. And so this fee and payments area are where you're going to be able to manipulate the invoice, edit it. If you accept cash on site, mark that you have a payment. And the way that you do that is hit the 3 little dots in the corner, and you can either add fees and payments, you can add a service if you'd like to add the entire thing on there. You can view the invoice if they paid you in full. You can add it. So let's hit edit fees and payments. And this is going to open up the invoice. I can edit this and say, oh, nope, radon for this guy is only $75. If they gave me either a partial payment or I would like to track what kind of payment was given to me on site, I can hit this payment received button and say that they gave me $400 in cash. On site, cash to inspector. And now I will have logs that I received this $400 payment, and you can look in your business metrics and say, oh, I accepted that, that's in my revenue. I could scroll down and hit save. And now I will have edited my services and fees here shortly. Come on, Mr. Internet. Okay, so because we edited a fee, so now I've accepted $400 out of the $455 total of my invoice. You can keep track of that payments over here. The agreement was generated at the time of scheduling. So it contains, and there's a tutorial, the pre-inspection agreement that I've set up in my settings, populated for this inspection with the client name, with everything like that. And if I click on this agreement, you can see your inspector profile if you had one over here, but it's going to populate using those same curly bracket placeholders for this is the address, this is the price, but you'll see I gave a discount to that guy. And so the agreement currently says $480. The orange warning at the top is your agreement is outdated. That's letting you know that there's something on the agreement, the date, the time, the inspector, if you have that placeholder, the fees, the services, something about that agreement is outdated, and you can choose to either dismiss it or update the agreement. I personally would highly recommend updating the agreement whenever you make a change and you get this warning. Fun fact about Casey is I went to law school, and I know all about what makes a contract valid or not. And if you have something on your agreement that is not completely accurate, it voids the contract. The comparison to the real world life situation is many people know that if a police officer who is issuing you a speeding ticket misspells something on the speeding ticket or puts the wrong date or something like that, that you can absolutely get out of that ticket. That's because that ticket is a contract, and because it's not accurate, you can get out of it. So if you would like your pre-inspection agreement to be completely accurate and binding, make sure you update it whenever you make these changes. And so if you get this agreements updated or outdated button, I highly recommend my non-professional now, since I'm not a practicing lawyer right now, advice would be to update your agreements. Make sure they're binding. If you have a signed agreement, it will regenerate a new agreement, because changing a signed agreement would not be legal. So it would give them a new agreement to sign. But again, you want it to be updated. You want to protect yourself. All right, nerd session done. Anyway, so if we scroll down here, you can see the agreements. If you would like to add another agreement, say they added a radon service, usually radon has a different agreement. All you would have to do is hit these 3 dots up in the corner and add a new agreement. Or if the agreement is unsigned, you can edit it, all that good stuff. The additional information that was put in the request form is in there. If you have notes that you would like to show up on your app, said husband is super nice, wife doesn't like talking, whatever it is, One of our awesome home inspectors down in Georgia, Discovery Home Inspections, they actually lead, it's almost like a behavioral psychology class about how to properly deal with the client and the agent and read them and make them feel comfortable. And sometimes the wife is super tech savvy, but the husband is not. And so if you talk to the husband and you start getting really technical, you're going to fluster him and make the wife feel less important and doing all these things. And they teach these behavioral psychology tools to their home inspectors. And I think it's incredibly cool. So putting in these human notes that are going to show up on your home inspection app, or even if it's just like the lockbox code, or, you know, make sure you remember the agent's daughter's name is Caroline, something like that. Use those internal notes. The only save button on this entire inspection details page is actually in this internal box, because when you enter information into this internal box, you need to push it to the app. And so hitting this save button is going to save this note. And you can see that my little save guy popped up. So everything else you can change and it will save automatically. You already saw the fees and payments had a save button at the bottom of it. And so save, save, save. If you have a report that you would like to add, that was terrible. If you have a PDF, like a radon report or something like that, that you would like to attach to the inspection, you can choose to either add it as a report and it will show up as if it's a report in the client portal, or as an attachment and it'll show up in the invoice area. And hooray, we're finally gonna get to the client portal. So in your scheduling, excuse me, I thought it was scot-free with the hiccups until right there. Anyway, in your scheduling email, you send them the confirmation link. And that confirmation link is going to lead them to the client portal. You can either click this client agent view button down here, or it's also up here at the top. So if we click client view, this URL web link is specific to this particular inspection. So like this would be that header logo I was talking about, how it's going to look better if it's a longer rectangle with your name and your logo on it. Okay, so if I scroll down, it's going to have the cover photo. If you have maps enabled, it'll have a map of your where the house is located. If you have an unsigned agreement, you'll see view and accept. If you have a payment that's awaiting and you have online payments set up, I don't, because this is a fake profile and I would have to set up bank information on this webinar, which I'm not going to do. It would be a awaiting payment with an orange pay now button, and they could click it and enter their credit card information. When they're accepting the agreement, they would click view and accept and scroll down. Oops, here we go. Down here, by checking this box, I hereby accept these terms and conditions of this agreement. Apparently, I'm not done being a lawyer on this one. That checkbox follows federal e-sign law. It is as valid as a written signature when taken on the web. And I say that because if I click it and then hit submit, it's not just like the checkbox. If I click this inspection agreement and scroll all the way back down again, you'll notice that it'll say the client accepted this agreement. It has the time and the date. And then this number down here is actually the IP address of the computer that it was signed at. And so if, God forbid, but if you have to go to court over a home inspection or a home inspection agreement, it's as legally binding as a physical signature on a piece of paper, because you are going to be able to track super easily, I swear, even for your non-tech savvy people, where that IP address came from and track and show that your client actually did sign it. So our checkbox type signatures follow federal law. Federal e-sign law is what it's called. Of course, if you're uncomfortable with this, check with your own legal representation, but federal e-sign law, all good. Anyway, okay, so we go back. Legal ranting over. Awaiting the payment, we still have that $55 that's outstanding for this one. But this is kind of what the client portal looks like. So if I go back out to my inspection, I'm just hitting the back button right now. Oops. Okay, there we go. And scroll down. I have report editing tutorials. We only have 20 minutes left on this webinar. It flies, I know. And so I'm not going to cover report editing today, but that's because there's so many tools for you to have in your report editor, both on the web and on the app. I wouldn't do justice right now. So if you're interested in particularly learning about the report editor, use your setup series. So let's fast forward, pretend we're in a video montage and we're already through editing the reports. Now we're ready to send it to the clients. You can view the report and see what it actually looks like before you send it out by clicking view. It's also in the report editor on the web. And it'll show you exactly what our web editor, or excuse me, what our web report looks like. Okay. You as an inspector are, because you're logged in, are the only ones who can see this edit report, inspection details, and publish. If you are a client or an agent who don't have a login, they can't see these buttons. Those are just for you, just for your fun little tools. Another fun thing about the web reports that I didn't mention before is this index over here is live. And what I mean by that is you can click the roof and it'll scroll to the roof section. So it just makes it a little bit easier to understand. You don't have to like scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Anyway, cool. So here's a web report. It's got all the tools, all the functionality, all that good stuff. I'm gonna go back. So now I want to publish this report to my clients or my agents. I would hit this publish all button. And since I only have a client on this one, it says sends client email. If I had something that I wanted to add to this particular email template before I sent it out, I could click this edit button and you can edit the subject line. You can say, nice to meet you today. Have fun at your birthday party. Whatever it is to make yourself feel personalized. And look, it only took me 6 seconds, even though I spelled things wrong. And now you've got a personalized email with your email template with a link built into it to send out. It's gonna take you no time at all, and it's going to seem personal, all that good stuff. Anyway, so then I will scroll down and I'll say I wanna send all. Now using our automatic emails, you have just sent the report out to the client. You also said as an inspector, I'm ready for them to see it. For the comfort level of my people, I think this is the last thing that I'm going to cover before I take a couple questions. As I said, the reports are locked out until you sign your agreement and pay. I published this, but as you remember, I still have an outstanding fee. So to kind of show you that, I'm gonna have to use an incognito window. We're getting fancy. Oh, you guys can't actually see that. This might have been a bad game plan by me. No, we can do it. Okay, I'm gonna make my face really big right now, so I apologize. Actually, I might just switch over. I've got to share my desktop so you guys see everything instead of just my screen. Okay, you probably didn't even notice anything. All right, if I scroll all the way down, this home inspection report, how am I gonna do this? Because it's not quite sent yet. I told you it takes a couple minutes to the emails. So if I'm in the home inspection details, boop, let's go back. Too far back. Cool, there we go. No, calm down. Ah. Come on, little internet. There we go. Okay, so the link in the report writing email is going to send us to the report. So if I click view, as I told you guys are seeing this because you are the clients or the agents. So if I copy this URL, which is the web link to the report, and I open up an incognito window. This is also called a private browser, depending on what browser you're using. Oh, I guess I never covered that. Spectora demands a modern browser because we're a very modern platform using modern code languages. So to use Spectora, use Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Edge. We are not compatible with Internet Explorer, Microsoft doesn't even call Internet Explorer a browser anymore. It's a compatibility option for outdated websites. That's literally what they call it. And so if you're using Internet Explorer, I highly recommend updating to Chrome, Edge, Safari, or Firefox. They are all equally as safe and way more modern, and you'll have a much better experience. Anyway, so I'm going to copy this URL, web link. And when I put it in, instead of allowing me to view the report, it's going to say inspector, or you have not paid, or there's an unsigned agreement. And scroll down here and look, we've got a big red thing for awaiting payment. And so for your peace of mind, I just tried to view the report without paying. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So until I pay, I'm stuck in this portal. Now, if I minimize here, and I'm going to go back to inspection details. And if me as an inspector we hit these three little dots in fees and payments and say paid in full. They gave me the other 55 bucks. This is great. If I open up my incognito browser again and refresh the page, so I'm trying to use this report link again, here's my residential report. I can now view it, and I hit this view button. And look, now I'm in my report, and I can't edit it. There's your other piece of mind. Good deal. And you can make your PDF report. It looks all sweet and snazzy. We never put in any information. So there's that. Okay, we have 10 minutes left. So if you are still on with me, we still got a bunch of you guys still on here. This is great. You have a tool tray bar of like your video and stuff like that. And one of those options is chat. And so if you jump on your chat, I have it set up so that you guys can only talk to me. You guys can't talk to each other. We had people getting embarrassed to ask questions because they didn't want people to make fun of them, and it was really cute. So you're only talking with me. So I'm going to open up the chat here, and look at the chat and see what questions you guys have if you guys would like to type in chat. Cool. Like I said, we got like 12 minutes left, so we got some time for these. Somebody said they don't have sound. I hope you figured that out. Your speakers were probably muted, unfortunately. One inspector would like to correct me and say that ASHI is pronounced like ash. Actually, they typed in ash, not ash. So I don't know how to pronounce that differently. I've heard it both ways, to be honest with you, ashi and ashy. It kind of depends on your regional accent, but either way, the American Society of Home Inspectors. But thank you. I'm not quite sure how you meant me to pronounce it, but all good stuff. Somebody else just typed in that they had sound the whole time, so thank you for confirming that. Yeah, unfortunately, that user was probably just on mute. Shoot. Okay, so how do I access the other webinars that have been published? Okay, so I'm going to open up let's go to Spectora.com. Spectora.com, nope, bad Casey. YouTube.com/Spectora. And this is our huge, gigantic library YouTube channel. I have a ton of webinars on there personally. Kevin, who's one of our founders, also has a ton of videos up there. He does marketing videos. Kevin actually has a phenomenal podcast called Spectora Spotlight. And he doesn't just interview Spectora inspectors. He does amazing podcasts on anything to do with the industry. He had Joe Ferry, the super famous home inspection lawyer, on there a couple weeks ago. And so make sure if you like podcasts, I know you guys drive around a whole lot, download Spectora Spotlight. He's got a ton of episodes up there. It's great. So on the home inspection, or on the Spectora YouTube channel, anything with this guy sitting down with the phone, it says group webinar, group webinar. I try to do 2 of those a month. Most of the time I succeed. Sometimes I don't, just due to chaos and team conflicts and stuff like that. If you have a good suggestion for an upcoming webinar, I'm all ears. I've done so many of the kind of beginner things and advanced features, and one time I just did user questions that I'm running out of webinar topics. So I've got a couple scheduled coming up, but I'm always here for webinars. And so you can go on here and you can check them out. The new user setup series that I keep on talking about would be if you hit this playlists button. We've curated some playlists of shorter videos in this Spectora setup series getting started. Oh, that's my voice. That scared the snot out of me. Whoa. Okay. So this entire channel over here, Intro to Spectora is going to be extreme basics of what browser to use, not great with technology, common FAQs, what's the difference between a template and a report, what's the difference between web and an app. Sometimes if you're just looking to start at the basics, just watch that guy. It's 13 minutes and I cover all the most basic tech support questions. But then these different parts, part 1 through 8, are, hey, here's learning just the schedulers and your availability. Hey, do you want to learn how to do the web report editor only? Great, there's 20 minutes on that. Bottom of the page is a mobile app demo to do that. So new user setup series. We also have links to these particular things in these tech support chat bubble, so jump on there. So youtube.com/Spectora is how you would get to our YouTube channel. Cool. Okay. Next question on my list. I'm trying to go chronologically, by the way, of when people typed in. So if I'm not immediately answering your question, I can still see it. I'm just trying to follow some sort of order in the chaos. Does our web design team work on WordPress? Yes, we work on WordPress, and we have a, I believe it's called an enfold design template. They do a phenomenal job. There's a ton of different customization that you can do. I'm just going to keep on throwing stuff at you guys. Spectora.com/websites. I can't remember if it's website singular or plural in this moment. Please don't embarrass me in front of my friends. Nice. Okay. So we have a websites page. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, like all the way down, there's testimonials and demos for like basic templates. We have this area called sites we've built, and these are active home inspectors right now. And so you can click around those and actually see home inspectors websites that are currently in action that we have built and how awesome and snazzy they look. And so if you're interested in us building a website for you, you can put spectora.com/website. Cool. Cool. Oh, that's nice. There's an awesome home inspector who says, thank you. She's actually an office manager. I talked to her a bunch over the last 2 days, but they're local here in Denver, and I did not know that. How fun. Okay, next question. What is the required format for a logo? My graphic designer sent me a PDF, and it will not allow me to upload due to formats. Correct. You either need to have a JPEG or a PNG, a PNG. A PDF is generally as big as a Word document. And so if you try to stretch it in or out, it's going to screw with the pixelation. So have your graphic designer send you either a JPEG or a PNG, so JPEG or PNG type file. And that's going to be that high resolution type file that is going to look great when you upload it. JPEG, ping. Yeah, PDFs won't work. They're not good quality, essentially. They probably sent you that as a proof, I'm hoping. If not, please reach out to them and get a JPEG or a ping. Okay, next question. How do you handle a client or agent when they call you directly about a potential inspection? Great question, and I never actually answered that. Oops, that's embarrassing. Okay, if I open up Spectora, we're back to here, and I go to dashboard, if you would like to schedule yourself, all you would have to do is hit this orange new inspection button. And if you hit this new inspection button, you can select which inspector, the date and the time. You can enter an address. 80209 is us here. If that address is recognized by Google or by Google Street View or Zillow, it'll pull, this is our community workspace I was telling you guys about. It will pull the information. If you're like, nope, that's not it, you can always discard the Zillow information. You can scroll down, add client name, add additional clients. You can choose the services that you would like. If there's something you would like to change about that, you can manually edit and add different templates, agreements, or fees. Discount code, I told you guys, was in beta, but if you have discount codes turned on, you can use it there. You can choose whether or not to require payments to release reports, notes to put on the invoice, select a client's agent, a selling agent, change the order ID, confirmed inspection. If you would like to add, if someone called you up and they're like, I think I want a home inspection for next Friday, but I'm not 100% sure. If you want to put it on your calendar, but also not completely block yourself off, you can actually uncheck this and it will create an unconfirmed inspection request to that page that we were on, where it's technically, you can see it on your calendar, but you're not blocked off. You can disable automated notifications if you would like to schedule something but have no emails or text messages go out until you're ready to turn them back on. And then those internal notes. So this new inspection form will be if you are personally scheduling. Great, I hope that answered the question. There's a new user setup series on how to schedule an inspection in the inspection details page. Ow, this hurts. I'm glad you guys are patient with the hiccups. No one's made fun of me yet. Okay, next question is, can we add the birthday to the questions when scheduling? Not currently. We do have an integration with a site called MailChimp, which is an automatic email system, and you can enter the birthdays in there and have them automatically triggered to go out on their birthdays. Hey, you're a wonderful agent, happy birthday, here's a panda or something, I don't know. And so it's not directly into our system. However, we have integrations to allow you to automatically send out your scheduling birthday emails. Someone just says laugh out loud. And I think that's great because I'm probably being hilarious right now. Okay. If you guys use WordPress, is it pretty easy to migrate your current website to Spectora? Yes and no. Because most different, okay, so we're talking about websites for those of you guys who are a little bit lost. So when you're building a website, you do it on a different like kind of hosting platform or like a website building form. And one of those is called WordPress. I'm trying to layman's terms here, so nobody jump on me if I'm not quite getting this right. But so we use a site called WordPress to build the websites on. If you have a current WordPress site, we can do migrations over to Spectora, but because it's not going to be a one-to-one transfer between your template, our template, and the different hosting sites, we are going to still do some editing and have to do some creation as well as you probably want us to update some things. And so we do on a case-by-case basis if you're migrating a site to us versus actually creating a brand new one. Our web team sometimes negotiates price discounts for you. I personally cannot name those off the top of my head. So if you're interested in a website migration, you can either chat bubble us or websites, plural, with an S at the end, websites at spectora.com is the email for the entire web team. And so you can type into them and all the designers have access to that and can answer any of your questions on there. Cool. Are there modifiers for crawl space, finished basement, types of cost differences? That feature update is coming in like 2 weeks. So not currently, but literally if you sit tight for 2 weeks, as you learn Spectora, yes, we will have a pricing modifier for type of foundation and things like that. Great, great, great. Somebody else says they use Wix. That's another platform like WordPress. Cool. Is it possible to send an automated email to my sewer guy whenever something is scheduled? So yes, in the features that are being beta tested right now, I mentioned earlier that we have some features that we're calling Spectora Advanced that are, they match ISN's capabilities and automations. And so you would be able to, using Spectora Advanced, which you're more than welcome to jump on as a beta user. We invite everybody who is knowledgeable of the Spectora system. So get to know basic Spectora and then jump on to Spectora beta a little bit. I mean, even if it's just like a basic knowledge, you're fine. Like I said, we're very user friendly. You would be able to set up a third-party email that, so we call them actions and rules. I actually, if you want to kind of get a sense for them, I have a webinar for that. There's a beta features webinar up there right now. But you'd be able to set up an action to trigger whenever a service inspection has a rule of having that service type. I realize that was probably a lot of gibberish, but I swear it makes sense when you're looking at the page. So the layman's terms of that would be you'd be able to email a third party automatically whenever a type of service was scheduled. In your case, you'd be able to automatically send an email that contains the inspection and client information over to your sewer guy whenever sewer type inspection is scheduled. So yes, it's in beta testing. We have a couple dozen inspectors currently using it right now in their businesses and they're loving it. So it's beta, but it's about to go public here in a couple weeks. Cool. Do I have to upload desktop info to the cloud drive before using the app? I'm honestly not entirely sure what you mean by that question. So the basics of Spectora is Spectora.com, your home base, does the cloud storage automatically for you for everything contained within the reports, the invoices, things like that. Anything in the inspection details page, we cloud storage for you as part of your subscription fee. Your app is an extension of Spectora.com. So the Spectora report writing app talks to Spectora.com. You download your report onto the app, then you edit the report on the app, then you save the report and it will save it back up to Spectora.com where it is stored. And so the user who asked me that question said, that's what I have to do with HomeGauge. I personally have never played around with HomeGauge. And so I'm not completely familiar with their system, mostly because you have to pay to do it and I'm a competitor, but to be honest. So basically the way it works is you schedule an inspection, you edit the inspection on the app, and then you save it and it goes to Spectora.com, and that's where you can trigger all of your emails and things like that. I do know one main difference between us and HomeGauge is that we license per user, not per device. And so you can use your laptop to edit at home, and because we're web-based, you can log into Spectora.com on any laptop. You're not limited to just one computer. You could be at a hotel using their guest lounge, stuff and log into your Spectora account there. And then we're also Apple compatible, and so you can use any combination basically of, you can use a Mac for Spectora.com, and then you can use a Samsung Galaxy Android phone for the report writer, and they're all going to talk to each other very, very nicely. So we're Apple and Android compatible. Yes, but we do the cloud storage stuff for you. Your app and Spectora.com would just talk to each other. Okay, next user's question is that they purchased the InterNACHI narratives. How would I go about importing them? Okay, so how to say this nicely. Okay, Kenton Shepard, who is a very renowned home inspector, he's a lovely man, wrote a huge library of narratives for InterNACHI. It's like 7,000 comments, and he sells them privately on the InterNACHI Inspector Outlet store for like $130 or something like that. I do like to confirm it's a library, not a usable template. I told you guys a little bit earlier, but a normal Spectora inspector has about 1,000 comments, not 7,000 comments. For example, Kenton, don't get me wrong, he has absolutely wonderful comments, but he has over 50 comments on just cracks in the driveway. It's a library, not a usable template. It's great. Use it to build your own template. not to actually try to learn Spectora and do the actual inspections. Kenton took the time, wonderfully, it took him more than a year to transfer his Word document of narratives into a Spectora template. When you purchased your narratives from Kenton, you purchased a copyrighted version of his 7,000 plus narratives. If you reach out to Kenton directly, I believe his contact information is on Inspector Outlet. I don't have it for you because he sells this and does it privately. Spectora doesn't make a dime off of this. We're not related with this at all. He has the template and can share it directly to your Spectora account because you've already purchased it from him. So if you contact Kenton and tell him, I bought your things, here's my copyright number, whatever, I'm using Spectora, and give him your Spectora login email, he can share your InterNACHI library that you purchased for him to your Spectora account. If you are a new inspector looking for templates and learning and things like that, I know a lot of you guys are more budget conscious. So before you spend $130 on these narratives, I would highly recommend going to the Template Center and downloading Ben Gramico, his personal template. He founded InterNACHI and he actively is the head trainer for inspectors up there. And his template is completely free. As well as we have the InterNACHI basic standards of practice template in there. So before you go spending the $130, I am absolutely sure that they're worth it eventually, but see what we've got first and then make your decision about purchasing the library to build your own template. Yeah, not trying to be mean to Kenton at all. I just really want you guys to understand because I've seen people fall into the trap on tech support where they're on site and trying to sift and scroll through 7,000 comments and they're getting frustrated because it's adding clicks, it's adding time and going slower because they're trying to use a library instead of doing a template that's usable. So positive of it, reach out to Kenton, have him share the template over to your Spectora account. Then from there, watch my template editing tutorial and grab the comments that you want from Kenton's library and create your own usable template from it. So that's how I'd recommend doing that. Again, they're amazing comments, don't get me wrong. There's so many asterisks everywhere. Cool. Somebody just said cool pickle, and I don't know, I just love that so much. So well played, sir. One of the really cool things about working on the Tech Support chat bubble and getting to know you guys personally is on the Tech Support chat bubble, we can use GIFs and funny things and like really show personality. The Tech Support chat bubble, I swear, is not intimidating. We are funny, we are lighthearted, we're gonna make you laugh. Be friends with us on there. Somebody thanks me and says they have to go to dinner. You're very welcome, enjoy dinner. Okay. Oh, the person who asked about the InterNACHI narratives wanted to know if they had to enter them manually. They didn't want to import them all. No, you don't have to. Ask Kenton, he'll share them with you. When you're trying to import a template from other softwares, if it's in an Excel file, we can often import it. Unfortunately, Kenton's old version was on a Word document and we don't know how to break up the Word document and what's included and what and that kind of thing. So if it's an Excel file, we can usually import it. But as for Kenton's particular narratives, he's got them already in Spectora. He just needs to share them with you. Okay, that is kind of the end of the questions that are in the chat. I'm gonna give just a minute here more. If somebody has another question, type it into the chat here. Otherwise, I'm gonna cut us off. We ran a little long here. For a long time, I did not think that I would be able to fill 2 hours, and then increasingly as I do these webinars, I just talk constantly and make a fool of myself for 2 hours straight, and then we run long. So I'm here to help. Like I said, if you guys have any other questions, go to Tech Support chat bubble. Ooh, I've got another one. Beer 30. It is Friday. Okay. User wants to know, sometimes Zillow does not allow third-party sites to see square footage, your build, etc. Do you have a link so that we can go and check another browser window immediately, as long as the open window navigating Zillow? Okay, so, all right, translating your question. We don't, okay, so Zillow is run by things that are called MLSs, multiple listing services. So they collect the data and it gets posted from multiple people who input things, and that's why sometimes there are multiple Zillow listings or there's conflicts of information, stuff like that. If you do not like the Zillow information, we in Spectora don't really have an option for you to like jump around besides discarding that and manually entering. But all you would need to do to go open up another browser window to do that is literally open up another browser window. So you could stay on this new inspection page with this stuff entered. Let me get my chat out of the way. So you'd be on this page, you'd enter it, your Zillow information came up and you're like, nope, that is not it. You could discard this Zillow information and then open up another browser tab and try to say 68th South Logan or whatever it is and pull up that information. And all you would have to do to re-enter it, my toolbar got in the way. All that you would have to do to re-enter it is now that you've discarded the Zillow information, you can go in here and manually edit everything. You can add the square footage, the year built, a foundation type. We already have that part in it. It's just the pricing modifier that's not on the back end yet. And like I said, that's coming in like 2 weeks. So you can always manually enter this information in here. Yeah, I think that answers your question, but I'm not sure. Brian, you're hilarious. Not what I need, but you're great. Okay. Cool. I think that's the end of my questions. I was just getting hyper. Cool. If you have any other questions, jump on this tech support chat bubble. Everybody has it on Spectora.com. It's also in the app if you need us while you're using the app. Where do you go from here? You would, if you don't have a free trial, go to Spectora.com and sign up for a free trial. I'm going to close out of here and you are open to the whole world of possibilities. I would sign up for the free trial and then I would start watching the new user setup series playlist to learn how to more in depth go through all the steps of setting up your profile and that kind of thing. We are available in the chats. I'm actually on support this weekend. Somebody's annotating and having fun right now. Go ahead, draw me a smiley face. And so I'm around all weekends on the bubble. We're 9 to noon Mountain Time, and then I check in multiple times over the weekend afternoons, try to get a little bit of work-life balance, but I'll be there for you. And then if you want to go through and you want to re-watch this, I will do a little bit of video editing today, and this video itself, if you want to relive my friend's pretty cool pictures here on YouTube, it'll be up by like noon tomorrow on the YouTube channel, and I'll also post it in the Facebook user group. If you're not already a member of the Facebook group, go search out Spectora users. We've got, I think, like 1,200 Facebook users on there right now. And they're super active and hilarious and funny and supportive and not negative at all, unlike a lot of other inspection forums. And so it's a happy place. Go there, ask questions. All right. It was lovely meeting you guys. Jump on the tech support chat bubble. Alexis is on there right now. I'll be on there all weekend. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the future and talking to you and getting to know you guys. I have a strange amount of friends in the home inspection world now. So, all right. I will see you guys later. This will be on the YouTube channel here soon. All right.